Om Vakradunda Mahakaya Suryakothi Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्धधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्ख्यपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थितदद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुः सुरासुरगणः देवाय तस्मै नमः। ओम नमस्ते एवरीवन।
नमस्कारं गुरुजी।
नमस्कारं। श्री भगवानुवाच असंशयं महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रहं चलम् अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येण च गृह्यते। 35th shloka we are seeing. So Bhagavan Krishna in this and the next shloka he is presenting the remedy for the universal problem of chanchalatvam of the mind. Krishna acknowledges that it is indeed a big problem and a difficult one to resolve. He is not going to say, oh, it's all this problem is in your mind and all that. It's a practical problem. Each one of us who have tried to do meditation, even for 5 minutes, we have experienced this problem. But even though restraining the mind is difficult, it is not impossible if appropriate upaya or a strategy for mental discipline is employed. That means you can handle the mind if you are willing to adopt proper methods. And he advocates 2 methods, abhyasa and vairagya. If employed appropriately, this problem or this obstacle can be overcome. And in the last class, we discussed what Krishna means by these 2 prescriptions, abhyasa and vairagya. Dealing with abhyasa, we noted that we all possess an inherent God-given power that if the mind has got interest in something, then it will always dwell upon that thing without any distraction. That's a basic principle we have to understand. There is no chanchalatvam of the mind at that time. And therefore, everybody has got this concentration power. Nobody can say that their mind is always restless and always wandering. Therefore, what is required is to invoke this concentration power during meditation. But of course, invoking the concentration power is also not that simple. There is a precondition attached to it. And what is that? This concentration power can be invoked only in respect of those activities in which we have a deep interest. The word deep should be underlined. For example, you might have seen people who have a keen interest in solving crossword puzzles, which appear in newspapers. Some of them are very tough. For example, Statesman and I think Hindu, these crossword puzzles which appear are very tough. But there are people who solve it. I mean, religiously, every day morning, they will sit with the newspaper, with the pen in hand, and then solve it. It may take 3 hours, 4 hours. And while they are at it, the concentration of the mind will be fully on it. As they say, their mind will be engrossed in it. So it is possible. They concentrate. Whatever you tell them at that time, nothing will fall on their ears. And we saw other examples like reading a book, watching a cricket or football match, etc. Now, if I develop interest in a particular field, and interest means not merely, interest, deep interest, involved interest, then the mind will enjoy dwelling on that. In spite of any distraction, unmindful of all the distractions, the mind will happily dwell on that subject. And how can we develop a deep interest in anything? We can develop a deep interest in anything by knowing its value, its greatness, its superiority, how it is wonderful for me. And in the context of Vedanta, this is achieved by Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. We first of all understand, look at the world, study the world, read the scriptures, understand what is permanent, what is impermanent, what is Nitya, what is Anitya. And then we develop a value for what is permanent, what is Nitya, what is dependable, and then what is Anitya, impermanent and undependable. And the scriptures tell us, and of course, we also know by our own experience, that the only permanent entity in the universe is Bhagawad, God. Because people come and go, situations come and go, even the entire creation comes and goes, but what remains without any change is God, or what we call in Vedanta parlance, Brahman, Brahma actually. Therefore, if we develop a value for the knowledge of Brahma and shift our dependence for our happiness from the impermanent world of people, things, situations, etc., to the permanent entity Brahman, we can be assured of eternal happiness, uninterrupted happiness. Therefore, if I value my happiness, I will look for that which can guarantee that happiness permanently. The more I understand that dependence on unpredictable, fluctuating factors is unintelligent living, and dependence on predictable and infinite Bhagavan alone is worthy in life, I will develop a value for knowing and depending on that infinite Bhagavan. This is Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. And only Shastram teaches this. You cannot find this teaching anywhere else. And as I continue to progress in this chosen path, spiritual path, I will reach a stage where I will understand that even dependence on God is ultimately dependence on myself. Because God is not different from me. God is not away from myself. Therefore, God dependence becomes self-dependence, which is what we call independence or moksha is all about. And therefore, the scriptures talk about our journey from world dependence to God dependence to self-dependence, which is otherwise called independence. And this is how I develop a value for this knowledge. And with the help of Shastra, when I dwell upon this topic, I will be able to apply my mind with full concentration to make meaningful changes to my lifestyle, to abide in the newfound knowledge, to abide in my newfound identity. Thus, when I have a holistic understanding of this reality, I will develop vairagyam towards anitya vastu, develop a value for nitya vastu. But of course, this value has to be embedded in my subconscious. Only then will I be able to spontaneously abide on this value. And meditation is the tool which I can use to make this value real for me, to guide my activities in day-to-day living. And therefore, Krishna says, Abhyasena vairagyena cha grihyate. Dwell upon the Shastra, dwell upon the values, dwell upon Bhagavan as the destination, dwell upon your own true nature, which is permanent, and develop an interest in that. Where many people say Vedanta is a dry subject. Philosophy, all going above the head, dry subject. But once you learn to love it, you will discover that it is the juiciest subject in the creation. Once you have got into this fully, it's very difficult for you to deny the value of Vedanta. You will want more and more. One Upanishad to another Upanishad, one Prakarana Grantha to another Prakarana Grantha. That's why we have students who are continuing, they continue their study, continue their studies endlessly rather. And therefore, Abhyasena means Vivekena and Vairagyena. Your mind is rechannelized from the world to God or Anatma to Atma. And in meditation also, you will do the same thing. That's what this sloka, Krishna advises in this sloka. Or he actually gives the solution. And he continues. Asayyatatmana yogaha dushprapa iti me matihi vashyatmana tu yatata shakyo vaptumupayataha. The Anvaya is yoga dushprapaha asayata atmana tu shakya avaptum vashya atmana yatata upayatah iti me matihi. So yoga dushprapaha. Dhyana yoga is difficult to be attained. Asayatatmana, by one with unrestrained mind. Two, but Shakya avaptum, it can be attained. Vashya atmana, by the self-control. Yatata, who strives. Upayataha, through proper means. Iti me matihi, this is my view. So what he is saying is, Dhyana yoga is difficult to be attained by one with unrestrained mind, wandering mind. But it can be attained by self-controlled, who strives through proper means. And this is my view. See how beautiful Krishna says. Krishna is not saying this is what you have to do. This is my view. Want to take it, take it. Reject it, reject it. See, this is the humility of the teachers. Of course, Krishna is the main teacher here. But you will find this humility in other teachers, or they will never force things on the Sishyas. So in this sloka also, Krishna is clarifying the same idea for them. Viveka and Vairagyam are the only two methods by which the mind changes its interest from something perishable, something impermanent, to something imperishable, to something permanent. Something fake to something real. And if that mind has not practiced Viveka and Vairagya, such a mind is called Asanyat Atma. Atma here means the mind. Asanyatam means not channelized from perishable to imperishable, from unhealthy to healthy, from Arthakama Pradhana to Dharma Moksha Pradhana. This redirecting, if it is not done, such a mind is called Prakrita Antakarana. It always goes by external vanity. It is carried away by external charm. So Asanyatatmana, the one who has not directed, rechannelized the mind, for such a person, yoga dushprapaha, meditation is impossible, very difficult. Dushprapaha is, we can translate it as impossible, though literally it is very difficult to get. Because even if he sits in meditation, his value is for what? For all those, dazzling things and, which is all something cheap in the creation. So he will sit in the puja room for meditation, but the mind is on something unworthy. Unworthy in the sense something inferior. Inferior to the reality. That is, inferior to moksha and independence and limitlessness. Therefore, yoga hai dushprapaha. Or dushprapya hai also you can say. Here dushprapa hai, yes. Yoga will be inaccessible to such a person. Iti me matihi. This is my view, my conclusion. Whereas when you have got interest for something, you don't need to sit in Padmasana, etc. You do not have to close your eyes. Wherever you go, your mind will be only dwelling upon that. Whatever I allow, the mind effortlessly dwells on that. Pashyan, Shrinvan, Sprishan, Jigran, all through activities, my mind one-pointedly will be dwelling upon that thing which I love. Similarly, when I got a value for that, the mind will naturally run towards that only. In fact, they give the example of a new mother, a mother who has given birth to the first baby. This is her first experience. The young baby and the mother may do umpteen transactions. Whatever transactions the mother does, the mind will always be around the baby only. She may be in the kitchen cooking, but her mind will be on the baby only. The baby actually may be sleeping, sound sleep, but she will be careful not to make any noise in the kitchen lest the baby wakes up. Even if she is a working mother, even when she is doing something in the office, her mind will be on the child. Child at home or child at the creche or wherever it is, where she has left the child. In fact, for her, the problem is to take the child out of her mind. Because she loves the child, she has a value for the child. She feels that because of the child, I enjoy motherhood. That's the biggest value she has got. Similarly, here also, if that value is there, he becomes Vashyatma. So Vashyatma is Sanyatatma, not Asanyatatma. The one who has got Viveka Vairagyam. The one who, for whom the priorities in life are very clear. And for such a person who is Yatata, Yatata means the one who strives, puts in a lot of efforts for dwelling upon the teaching. The one who strives to sit in meditation, gives some quality time for Vedanta because of the recognition of its value, its utility in life. He doesn't sit in meditation for getting some promotion in office or getting this or that in life. He is there for spiritual benefit because he knows Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita and all will not give material benefit, that he knows. That is one of the first Viveka he has got. So therefore, when he sits in meditation, it is for spiritual benefit only. Therefore, Yatata Purushena, by such person of Viveka and Vairagyam, Shakyaha Avaptum Upayataha. Avaptum Shakyaha. Meditation is possible. Therefore, for one who has got Viveka and Vairagyam and who is Vashyatmana, who has disciplined the mind through these two upayas, who studies the scriptures and dwells upon the basic teaching of our scriptures, yoga avaptum shakya. Meditation is possible. So thus Lord Krishna has comprehensively discussed all the aspects of meditation, especially Vedantic meditation, which has to be practiced after a thorough study of the Vedantic scriptures. In fact, the topic of meditation, nowhere else we will find such an elaborate discussion of meditation. Therefore, one whole chapter has been dedicated for that in the Gita. And therefore, the 6th chapter is very important from this particular angle. He has even dealt with the topic of obstacles in meditation, especially the obstacle of mental distraction. And also, he has talked about the remedy for it. And one very important aspect Krishna has emphasized is that if a person should be successful in meditation, he has to develop vairagya, detachment from the world. Without vairagyam or detachment, meditation will not be successful. And without meditation, Vedanta cannot be assimilated. And without assimilation, we would not get the full benefit of Jivan Mukti. And therefore, we find Vairagyam or detachment is given a very important position in the scriptures. Tattvabodha talks about it in Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampati right in the beginning itself, Viveka Vairagya. So actually with the previous verse, with this verse which we were just seeing, Krishna has concluded his answer to Arjuna's question. Arjuna's question was how to handle the wandering mind, the problem of restlessness during meditation. Vikshepaha, how to handle Vikshepaha. And Krishna discussed it and given the solution also. And the solution, as we saw, is to develop an interest in the object of meditation, which is possible only by reading the scriptures and those books which talk about the glory of those objects, and also satsanga. Satsanga is a very, very important aspect of all these things. Having like-minded people around you who have got such values. Because the Sangha also influences. If I am moving with a person who considers money alone can give happiness, sooner or later I will begin to say money is God. In Tamil they say Kashedan Kadavulada. Money alone is God. Of course, Krishna doesn't talk about satsanga here, but satsanga is also considered very important because whatever my friend values knowingly or unknowingly, I also develop a value for that. And that is why you will observe many times when we want to take a decision, we will consult our friends. What is your view? Then we will come to know what does the friend value, and we will also be inclined to take a decision on the same lines. So satsanga is something which is very, very, one should value that. And that's why, Shankaracharya and Bhajagovindam says, Satsangatve nissangatvam nissangatve nirmohatvam nirmohatve nischalatatvam nischalatatve jivan mukti. He said how you have beautifully outlined how one should proceed for jivan mukti. So here nissangatvam means what? Vairagya. And that's why it is said that you must be very careful to choose with whom you should move, whom you should have friends, because that has got a very big impact on your values in life. This is one of the ways addictions are formed. For example, most youngsters take to smoking because of the influence of friends. And in the course of addiction, in the course of time, it becomes an addiction. Of course, that is not satsanga, that is dursanga. But satsanga is important. So even though Krishna is not explicitly talking about it, we can include satsanga also for successful meditation, for developing the value for the object of meditation. Choose our friends and influencers through Viveka and Vairagya. So that is the complete solution. So now Arjuna has got the answer, or rather solution, to his problem of chanchalatvam of the mind. See, we must understand one thing. For every problem in our life, there is a solution. There is no problem without solution. Our approach should be to dwell upon the solution and not keep worrying about the problem. Analyze the problem threadbare to find a solution. Then once we find the solution, we just need to accept it and act on it. Because when Arjuna said, you see how things have come about. When Arjuna said, my mind is wandering and I am unable to restrain it, we all agreed with Arjuna because we have experienced it. We sympathized with him. And that is our experience also, especially when we sit for meditation. We seldom realize the problem is not with the mind, but the problem is with the unprepared mind. So the solution is what? Prepare the mind. It may sound difficult, but not for a serious spiritual seeker. As Krishna points out, yatata upayatah avaptum shakyah. So with this sloka, the dhyana pratibandha and parihara topic is over. In fact, actually, with this sloka, the 6th chapter itself dealing with meditation is over. Here should have come after this sloka, Om Tat Sat iti Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishatsu and all. So when Krishna has concluded in this manner, Arjuna looks at himself, considers all that, and sees whether he will be able to develop total detachment and practice meditation and assimilate. This is what we also do, isn't it? And like us, or like Arjuna, we do, or like us, Arjuna does. Somehow, unfortunately, Arjuna is not very confident of himself. And therefore, he becomes very pessimistic with regard to the attainment of liberation in this Janma itself. There's a problem all Vedanta who are attending classes regularly and they hear about all these things. They have this thing, oh, it's all possible. Is it possible? So many things, Vairagya, Viveka, and all, how to do it. I've got so many of them. I'm actually surrounded by so many samsaric issues. How can I get out of them? So this pessimism of Arjuna is not just Arjuna's problem, it's a universal problem. When a seeker comes to the spiritual field and sees the prescribed sadhanas, he becomes extremely pessimistic. Then he will come to the conclusion, I don't think we ordinary people can ever attain liberation. Maybe there are few people, one Shankara, one Ramakrishna, one Ramana. They might have, out of what, after crores of people, few here and there. But they're all somewhere high up. We are all somewhere down. All these sadhanas might have worked for them, but it will not work for me. Thus, pessimism is one of the main common obstacles for every seeker. So whether Arjuna had this problem or not, we don't know. Arjuna identifies with the majority of the community, and that Arjuna has this problem we can deduce from the next sloka. And this pessimism or self-diffidence is also another human weakness. And that's why, in the beginning of this 6th chapter itself, Krishna said, Uddaret atmana atmanam na atmanam avasadayet. Never look down upon yourself. Raise yourself by yourself. Uddaret atmana atmanam. Never be diffident. Because if I do not have self-confidence, Atma Kripa will not be there. then even God cannot help. Because we will end up arguing with God and trying to convince him that I cannot succeed in life. So if you have decided that I cannot accomplish this, even God will become helpless. And that is why, in management schools, they teach, develop the can-do attitude. Anything I can do, only I need to find ways and means to do it. There is nothing impossible. So if you develop this kind of a negative attitude, God will become helpless, gurus will become helpless, Shastram will become helpless. And therefore, Krishna repeatedly tells faith in oneself is important. But in spite of all that, it seems Arjuna continues to be defeated. Therefore, his conclusion seems to be, in this life, I am not going to get moksha. He seems to be very sure about it. And since in this life I am not going to get moksha, Arjuna starts thinking about his next life. So he wonders, assuming that I take the next birth, which is going to be definite because I am not going to get moksha. I am not going to get liberated in this life. So Punarapi Jananam is there. But his worry is not having another birth. His worry is, I have done so much. So many sadhanas I have done in this life. If I take a next birth, will all that be wiped out? Meter will be set to 0. And so in the next Janma, I will have to start all along again from LKG, I will have to start. Or will all these sadhanas of this life will be carried forward so that in the next Janma, I need not study Tattva Bodha. I can directly, even I can skip Gita, I can directly go to Brahma Sutra. Perhaps I can continue from where I leave off in this life. So in essence, his worry and question is, what is going to be my lot in the next birth? And therefore, because of his pessimism, he raises this question in verse 37, 38, and 39. 3 verses. Arjuna's pessimistic questions. We will read the verse 37. Arjuna uvacha ayati shraddhopetah ayati shraddhayopetah yoga chalita manasah aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim Krishna gacchati. So the Anvaya is Arjuna uvacha. He Krishna, Shraddhaya upetah ayatihi chalita manasah yogat aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim gacchati. Arjuna uvacha. Arjuna asked, He Krishna, O Krishna, upetah shraddhaya. Suppose there is one who is endowed with faith in scriptures. Actually, upetah shraddhaya means faith in scriptures. Faith. Upetah shraddhaya means faith. In scripture, we have to add the other, understand the context, right? So suppose there is one who is endowed with or who has got faith in the scriptures. Ayatihi, but whose effort is insufficient. Ayatihi, right? Chalita manasaha, whose mind has strayed away From what? Yoga, from dhyana yoga, from the sadhana of meditation and other spiritual sadhanas. Aprapya, not having attained. Yoga samsiddhim, the result of dhyana yoga, the result of the spiritual pursuit in the form of moksha. Kam gatim, what goal? Gachati, does he attain? So Arjuna asked, O Krishna, suppose there is one who is endowed with faith in scriptures, but whose effort is insufficient and whose mind has strayed away from dhyana yoga, not having attained the result of dhyana yoga, which is moksha, what goal does he attain? Where will he go? So here, all those people who failed in spirituality, that means those who struggled in spiritual field but did not succeed. All those people actually are called yoga brashtaha in the Shastra. Even though the word is not used here. But Arjuna's question is about yoga brashtaha. What will happen to a yoga brashta in the next janma? And that is said here in the 37th verse. First, he describes the yoga brashta. Arjuna says, suppose there is a person. He has come to spirituality. He has done karma yoga. He thinks that he has grown out of religion. All this, dharma, artha kama, purusharthas. He has dropped all the karmas also. He has stopped going to temples and all other things because he has realized the only truth. Through Shravanam, he has gained the knowledge. He has come to the Jnana Marga, relinquishing the Karma Marga. And in Jnana Marga, he has total faith. But because of one obstacle or the other, he could not pursue the path of knowledge. So he says, Yoga Chalita Manasaha. He has fallen from spirituality, which means he did not succeed in his or her spiritual sadhana. So here the word yoga we have to translate as spiritual sadhanas. Adhyatma yoga. Chalita Manasa means he has fallen, he has slipped, he has failed. Chalita Manasa. But even though he could not put forth sufficient effort, Shraddhaya upeta, that person is very sincere. It is not that he gives some lame excuses. It is not because of lack of interest. But in spite of his sincerity, in spite of his faith in what the scriptures say in the Jnana Kanda, there are obstacles. There is a value for spiritual life, but he could not follow because some obstruction or the other. So, Shraddhaya upetaha. And why he could not succeed? Ayatihi, because of his insufficient effort. He put forth effort all right, but the effort was not sufficient. So the very fact that he has failed indicates that he has fallen from the path of spirituality. Therefore, ayatihi means alpa prayatna. A person of insufficient effort. Because of insufficient effort, because of various obstacles. Because there are many people who are very sincere, who want to put forth a lot of effort. But because of various reasons, obstacles come. And these obstacles, these pratibandhas, can come from three sources: Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika, and Adhyatmika. Adi Daivika refers to supernatural sources, divine forces. It is said in the scriptures that actually many devatas, they feel jealous of human beings who are in the spiritual pursuit to attain moksha. Because they themselves have not been able to follow this path in their human birth. They have been focusing on earning more and more punya through karma. And because of that punya, they have got the present position of this devata, Varuna devata, Agni devata, etc. They got a better life, all right. But that is not life of moksha. They will be Shine Punye Marte Lokam Vishanti, as Krishna says. They will come back. So the devata position is not a permanent position. It's also a temporary position only. So, and they know that only in the human birth they can pursue this Jnana Kanda, this moksha package. In no other yoni you can pursue this package. So these devatas become jealous of the people who are pursuing this moksha path, and they create obstacles. How they will create obstacles? They will command Rahu, Ketu, Shani, and all this, the planets to create pratibandhas. This is Adi Daivika. Next is Adi Bhautika pratibandhas. Obstacles from surroundings or other human beings. You may be getting ready to log into Zoom for the Gita class, and your very close friend drops in and insists that you should go with him to a movie. Or there is a power cut, or the internet is down. All these are all Adi Bhautika Pratibandhas. Corona, biggest Adi Bhautika Pratibandha. But that Pratibandha actually helped a lot of students, lot of people to become students of Vedanta. That's a different side of it. Anyhow. The third is Adhyatmika Pratibandhas, obstacles from oneself in the form of ill health, etc. Suppose I lose my hearing capacity. Then attending the class also is of no use. I won't be able to hear anything. Well, Adhyatmika Pratibandha. Therefore, because of Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, and Adi Daivika Pratibandha, Saha Ayatihi Bhavati. Alpa Prayatnaha Bhavati. He is not able to, he or she is not able to put in the required efforts for attaining the goal of moksha. And therefore, Arjuna's question is, this yoga chalita manasa, this yoga brashta, what will happen to him if this person is not able to attain moksha? Yoga samsiddhim aprapya. Yoga samsiddhi means moksha phala. So samsiddhi here means phala. Phalam of what? Yoga hai. Yoga means spiritual sadhana. The phalam of spiritual sadhana, which is moksha hai. So this moksha phalam aprapya. So that person, in spite of sincerity, because of insufficient efforts, due to various reasons, is unable to attain moksha. Maybe he did not get a guru. Maybe he was attending Vedanta classes in one place, then he got transferred, and there was no teacher in the new place. There could be umpteen factors like this. And that is why it is said that in the spiritual path, it is extremely rare for everything to come together for one to progress successfully. Many of you have been Viveka Chudamani students. Just recall the third sloka. Durlabham trayame vaitad devanugraha hetukam manusyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshrayah. Beautifully Adi Shankara has said, to be born a human being, to be interested in spirituality, and to have an opportunity for pursuing spirituality requires a lot of punya. Purva Janma Punyam is required. So, coming back to Arjuna's question, because of some obstacles, this person could not attain the phalam. In that event, what will happen to him? Hey Krishna, Kam Gatim Gachati. What is the lot of that person? Will he have a lower birth? Will he have a human birth again? What will be his next birth like? And only Krishna can answer this question, because we cannot know what our next birth is. Krishna being, the omniscient, he will know everything. So that is the question Arjuna asked. Kam Gatim Gachati. Because there is one more point in Arjuna's mind for this question. See, this fellow has relinquished all karmas, come to Jnana Marga, but Jnana Phalam of Moksha he could not attain. If he had continued in the Karma Marga, then at least he could have attained the Karma Phalam of Swarga. Isn't it? Lot of Punya, he could have become a Devata, gone to Swarga. Different grades are there. Promotion he could have got. Under the present circumstances, he did not get that karma phalam also. Well, this happens to us, isn't it? When we are standing in a queue in a railway station or in an airport or something, security queue in airport. This often happens. You are standing in a queue. Then you see the next queue moving faster. So you switch to that queue. When you switch to that queue slows down, and this earlier queue seems to move faster. Then you are in a dilemma. Oh my God, I should have stayed there only. I did a mistake by coming here. So like that, this fellow, after having come to Jnana Marga, relinquishing the Karma Marga, he feels, oh my God, I should have at least continued in Karma Marga. At least I would have got some karma phalam, in terms of like swarga, etc. But that time I wanted moksha, so I came here. I sacrificed swarga phalam for moksha phalam. Now I have come here. I am not getting this also. It's a typical Trishanku situation. I hope you have all heard about this Pauranic story, Trishanku. Trishanku was promised, it's a big story, but I will not go into the detail, just very briefly I'll tell you. Trishanku was promised a place in Swarga by sage Vishwamitra, who engaged in a solitary yajna to achieve this. And due to the power of the sage's ritual, Trishanku left the earth with the body. So this thing was, with the body you should go to Swarga. So Trishanku left the earth for the sake of attaining heaven. But he was not granted visa on arrival, because you cannot enter Swargaloka with a human body. So on reaching the immigration counter in Swarga, he was denied entry and he was to be deported. And Indra, being the Lord of heavens, when he saw that this Trishanku with human body is trying to enter, it is like, having a false passport, false visa. Indra angrily kicked Trishanku, sending him hurtling towards the earth. And Vishwamitra, because he was the architect of sending this fellow, on a journey to Swarga, because of his power, he was able to halt his fall midway during the descent. And therefore, this Trishanku king was suspended in the air. He was neither in Swarga nor in Bhuloka. He could not reach the earth also. He was hanging in the mid-air. So, this person or the seeker, karma phalam bhuta swarga api nasti, jnana phalam moksha api nasti. So, it's called a Trishanku situation. So, what will be the lot of such a person? And Arjuna himself clarifies his pessimism further. A pessimism which appears very logical. Because the pessimistic people have got their own logic to support why they will not be successful. Arjuna explains and justifies his pessimism in the next verse. So we will read verse number 38. Kachinno bhaya vibrashtaha chinnabhramiva nashyate apratishto mahabaho vimudo brahmanah pati. The Anvaya is, He Mahabaho, Ubhaya Vibrashtaha, Vimudaha, Pati Brahmanaha, Kaschit na Apratishtaha Nashyati, Iva Chinna Abram. He Mahabaho, O Krishna, Ubhaya Vibrashtaha, fallen from both yoga and karma. Vimudaha and deluded, Pati Brahmanaha in the pursuit of Brahman, Kaschit na does not, Apratishtaha nashyati, the supportless perish, Iva Chinna Abram, like a scattered cloud. O Krishna, fallen from yoga and karma, and deluded in the pursuit of Brahman, does not the supportless yogi perish like a scattered cloud? Means what? Akshepartha kim? That means he will perish like a scattered cloud. So this is where Arjuna is expressing what is the thought behind his question of Kam Gating Krishna Gachati. So in the previous verse, Arjuna had said that the seeker is of insufficient effort will not attain moksha because he could not put forth full effort. And of course, we added that idea, we actually expanded that idea, even though Arjuna did not say all these things. We added that coming to Jnana Marga, he had given up the Karma Marga also, and so he was deprived of both the phalas. He could neither get Jnana Phalam nor Karma Phalam. His situation became a Trishanku situation. This much we saw, right? This time, so we will continue in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
धन्यवाद
Thank you very much, Guruji.
धन्यवाद है।
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you, Guruji.
Namaste. Thank you. No,
Namaste, Guruji.
namaste.
Guruji, the solution to the Chitta Chanchalyam while doing the Vedantic meditation and what Krishna's suggestion.
I think the mic is switched off.
Mic is switched off. Lataji,
Yes, Guruji, I
you are
got
on
it.
mute.
Yeah. Guruji, thank you very much for the session. The for Krishna's question, sorry, Arjuna's question, Krishna answering, giving the solution for the Chitta Chanchalyam during the Vedantic meditation. One is Abhyasa, he says, and then the secondly, the Nitya Nitya Viveka Vichara and Vairagya. So all the three are very important. Abhyasa, all three very important. But then the Viveka and Vairagya is again by more by self-effort only, or do we, of course, Guru Krupa and again Daiva Krupa is also required for everything. So on a day-to-day basis, Viveka and Vairagya, is that what you said, Guruji, by again studying the Shastras and by satsang, that's how we get into the Viveka and Vairagya.
Yeah. Develop a value for it. You actually practice Viveka and Vairagya every day in most of the matters and most of the things that you do. You don't realize it that it is Viveka
Right.
and Vairagya, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you have a Viveka. What is good for me, what is bad for me, correct? Eating something which doesn't suit you is bad for you, you know. So you have that Viveka. What is good for me, what is bad for my constitution. Will you, after having that, will you go for the bad thing? No. Somebody gives you this, please eat this. Suppose, let me assume, practical. You are a person who doesn't eat onion. Somebody comes and gives you some dish with onion and say, this has got onion. Will you say, oh, it doesn't matter, I will eat? You will not. If you have got a strong viveka, strong dislike for that, you will not do it. So that is like Atma, Anatma, Viveka only. So that Viveka is there. And the Viveka, the flip side of Viveka is Vairagya. Under any circumstances, you will not eat onion. That is Vairagya. So under any circumstances, I am not going to depend upon any of these things in the world, these impermanent things, these perishable things, which are today, they're gone tomorrow. I'm not going to depend. I'm going to depend only on what is permanent for my happiness. Because happiness is my goal. And it's not just temporary happiness, 1 hour happy, 3 hours unhappy. No. I want permanently to be happy. I want to be permanent peace of mind. So if you start thinking about it, the Viveka Vairagya is not something which Shastra is telling you should develop and all. We already have. In fact, whatever Shastra is telling, we have all that. Unfortunately, what is happening is we are all like Hanuman. We don't know our own strengths. And we keep on dwelling on our weaknesses and make it an excuse for doing all wrong things in life. That's our problem. If you identify your strength, I am good at this, I have got this power. I mean, like for example, when Arjuna said that mind is wandering and it is restless, we all will feel, yeah, Arjuna is very correct, isn't it? Because
Yes.
our mind also is always wandering. But have you ever tried to focus your mind on something which you love? That you are engrossed in that thing and nothing else disturbs you. Isn't it? It happens.
Yes, Guruji.
So that power is there. We are not utilizing that power. Develop an interest in Vedanta, develop an interest in moksha, develop an interest in knowing Brahman, becoming Brahman. Love that. You will automatically do meditation without any problem. Our problem is we are always sitting on a fence. We want to do a lot of good things, but then we find excuses not to do it. That is what Krishna is pointing out. He is telling Arjuna, you are actually, without telling Arjuna that you are wrong, he is pointing out that you can do it by Abhyasa and Vairagya. Vairagya means what? Focusing on something exclusively at the by removing your focus on other things. That is Vairagya.
Yeah.
So that is what we can develop all those things. Effort is there. Effort should be put. Because first we must understand and that should be there. Then only the effort will be meaningful. Otherwise, we will keep on doing like treadmill walking. Treadmill walking also will give some benefit, but you will be staying where you are without any other benefits coming to us. So like that, we can put in effort. It is possible. It is not just one Ramana Maharishi or somebody has done. For everyone, it is possible, provided we have that approach.
Okay, Guruji. Thank you. Namaste. Hari Om, Guruji.
Hari Om. Any other question, comment?
Thank you, Guruji.
Okay, thank you. So I
Namaskaram.
guess we can.
Just put a comment there. The fort
Yeah.
of effort.
Oh, in the chat box.
The fort of effort.
Yeah, the fourth of effort. Ramuji is very good in all these kind of, in English words, he is very good in that. Amazing talent he has got. So effort is fourth of effort. So that is the secret. So fortify yourself with the necessary effort. Okay. Right, then we'll close the session. Continue in the next.
Dhanyawad.
Dhanyavad. Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.